CFL betting blueprint. It is week 11 in the CFL. Andrew, Terry, and Bobby with you guys. Hope you all had a great weekend. Hope you guys are enjoying your summer. I was enjoying my summer until a couple down weeks in the CFL. Maybe trying to be a little bit too outside the box. Who knows? I lost a big play on the Ottawa Red Blacks this week. Come on. That's tough. We'll find out if they get my money once again. We did close out the week with a winner on Hamilton, so that was nice. The line closed at 9.5, guys. Nathan Rourke, I mean, did they think he was Patrick Mahomes? I don't know what happened there, but that line shot up, and Hamilton only loses by a couple points there. But another slightly losing week for me. Not happy about it. We'll try and move forwards. Update, though, because of the hot start I had at Wagertalk, 1 to 5 unit scale, we are still up 18 units on the week. Terry, on the season. Terry, how are you, man? How's your summer going?
Yeah, last week, really low volume week for me. And I'm more of a high volume guy, but 0-1 last week. Took a shot with the Calgary Stampeders. And after they lost to Toronto by 3 points, I thought, you know what, I'm taking the rest of the weekend off. But it's a new week, and there's some good spots to talk about. So I've got a side play and a player prop, both that I really like here this week.
And, of course, pnp.buzz /TE for Terry. Bobby, look, it's a long season. All three of us started off pretty firing on this year. We're only week 11. Quite a bit of time left to go here in the season. How are you feeling?
A lot better now. Went 2-0 last week, and should have gone 3-0 if I had the cojones to back the Ticats and Harrison Frost like you did. So, I feel pretty good, and lots of crazy openers this week too. So lots of action already. Usually I'm only on 1 or 2, and I think I'm on every game already this week. So hopefully a chance for a middle on one of them, and then I could just hope both teams have fun.
Yeah, we're only recording on Tuesday evening, here about 5 o'clock Eastern time. Bobby's firing already. Terry's going to give us 2 plays. I have some thoughts here as well. And yeah, Bob, you know what, though? I needed that one so bad, man, that Hamilton one. The one thing I'm proud of myself for in week 10 is that the old Andrew, after losing some of the ones I lost earlier in the week, never would have played Hamilton. But I didn't shy away. So if there's one thing I can be proud of myself for, we didn't go away and get gun shy. We did get the money back a little bit on Hamilton. But guys, again, all of these videos are on podcasting platforms as well. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeart. You guys can check them out there and try and keep the comments positive here, guys. It's a 9-team league. We're doing our best to promote this league here, and you guys are filling us with some negativity. Let's try and keep it positive. Appreciate all of you guys that smash the like button and show some love. Let's jump into Stamps and Lions. Bobby, I say, I think you're in action on this one, but if you have thoughts on all of them, let's start with you here with this one. What do you think about this one? And we do have a mistake with the odds as the Stamps are favorited here, but what do you think?
Stamps, what are they right now? Laying 5.5. I thought this was one of the wild openers, maybe the most wild opener of the week. So this is the Lions team that closed close to 8 last week against Hamilton. This would make the Stamps like a 12-point, 13-point favorite against against the Ticats, which I don't think they deserve to be laying. And we know what they should be laying because they were laying 5.5 against Trey Ford just 2 weeks ago. So this team couldn't get ahead of the Argos. The Argos were literally handing them the ball every few plays, just turning it over to them. 4 turnovers in the first half, and they still couldn't do anything with it. So combine that with the fact that it seems like everybody's jumped off the Nathan Rourke bandwagon. Your boys at 3 down are already calling Davis Alexander the closest thing to Doug Flutie they've seen since Doug Flutie, or maybe Nathan Rourke in the past 2-3 years. But yeah, already off the Rourke bandwagon. I'm happy back in these quarterbacks who get no respect, the Cody Fajardos, and now it's the Nathan Rourke. I have no problem backing Nathan Rourke in a spot like this. So call me crazy. I don't think he's going to have like another worst game or one of the worst games of his career against a Stamps D that's given up points to anybody. Half their secondaries on the injury report, let alone a few more on the injured list that aren't even eligible to play. So I think this is way too many points. I like this down to 4.5 if it moves anymore. But Calgary probably should be laying close to a field goal here.
All right, Bobby, not scared to fade this Stamps team. And it is weird because my slogan with CFL betting is don't fall in love with a team for more than 1 week. You can love them for 1 week. Once that week is over, you have to have a new opinion about them the next week. And just like yourself, for me, when you look at a team, sometimes you can say, all right, I like this team. I'm going to be on the Stampeders. And then the next week you're against them. And then you look at it now, and it's almost like when a team earns too much respect in the league, you want to go the other way a little bit here. So taking a look at this Lions, Terry, talked to good friend Jeff Dawson, who I do shows on Twitter with every Tuesday and Friday. And I've talked to a couple other football betting experts. They described 5.5 as dead numbers to me. Jeff talking about, hey, 5.5 from a book, it's not a 4.5, not a 3.5, not a 6.5. It's kind of like a number where they let the market dictate where they're going to go next, which means it's an opportunity for us to take advantage of a number here. Total at this one, 63.5. What do you think here?
Yeah, I agree with Bobby. My play is BC plus 5.5. My one side play here in this game. And the way I look at it is I would prefer if Calgary was off a win last week, but even off a bad loss, and it is a bad loss. Bobby's right. The fact that 4 interceptions, I think in the first quarter, there was a ton of opportunities for Calgary to take over that game, and they didn't. But now they're heading back home. They're going to be facing this Lions team. The way I look at this number at 5.5, I think it's more as if the backup was in. This number does not look like Rourke is starting. So Rourke is starting. So I think he's going to have a better week than he had last week in his first week back from injury. So I think this number is too high at plus 5.5. I think the Stamps probably do win, but I think this is a field goal type game. So give me BC plus 5.5.
Yeah, I think it's just weird. You go from 1 week to the next, right? I always talk about a team being in specific roles. And guys, as I mentioned, the number closed at 9.5. Like I felt stupid. I'm like, all right, like I waited for a 7 in the hook. I didn't release the 7, waited for 7 in the hook, go and run some errands, go to the grocery store, come back, and it's 9.5. I'm like, okay, so I didn't get the best number and it didn't matter. But now you're getting points with the Lions. You're not laying points with the Lions, which is what makes the biggest difference to me. So it's a consensus here on the panel. And that means somewhere we have Joe Ranieri getting ready to bet the Stamps and fade the public and fade the panelists somewhere, as he likes to do when he used to do a lot of producing for us. But love this one. And I think it's a great, great spot for us to take advantage of a team that probably just getting too many points here, guys. So total wise, I am curious to see. I mean, look, Stamps were scoring on everybody and giving up points against everyone. So curious to see what happens with the total in this one as well here, guys. We'll move on to Ottawa and Winnipeg. I'm going to just start with this one here, guys. Initially, I'm saying to myself, all right, I'm done with Ottawa. I gave out a big play on them and it blew up in my face, but it started off 20, 25 minutes. I'm like, man, I felt good. Winnipeg, off a bye. Zach Collaros is back. Home field. Everything sounds good. But here's the problem. Zach wasn't good when he was healthy. This team hasn't been good at home this season, and the offense hasn't really been explosive either. So if I liked the Red Blacks at around the same number as we're seeing 7s pop up against Saskatchewan, why would I not like them at this number against Winnipeg? So it might be one of those spots where if you took Ottawa last week, you kind of have to take them again a little bit based on where the numbers line up here a little bit. Very curious about the total in this one as well. I'm tempted by the first half over here, guys. If I can get 28.5, I think this game could start with a bang because we have seen the Red Blacks start fast, but then their offense fizzles out. Jake Mayer loves his timely interceptions late in the third quarter just to throw the game away a little bit. But I don't know. I think here, Terry, when it comes to this one, I'm trying to figure out how I feel about Winnipeg because, again, the books aren't having any luck getting any Red Black money, right? That's one of the reasons why we're seeing Bombers laying this number. But at the end of the day, what have the Bombers done to make us think they deserve to be laying this against me, you, and Bobby?
Nothing. Like when I look at this game, and you know what, that's the best word to describe this game is nothing. I have absolutely nothing here in this one.
Okay.
This battle between two bums, in my opinion. And the one bum is -6.5. And one bum is
comparing. Hold on. They can't be compared as both. One's got to be a worse bum at least.
Of course. No, of course. The Red Blacks are the worst team in the league. And if they were just getting smashed game after game after game, that would be great because we could just take the spread against them. But there are games like their game against Winnipeg where they actually look good for a good portion of it and then find a way to blow it late. So this is just, there's 4 games on the slate this week, and this is just one that I couldn't bet if you paid me to bet it. So pass.
Bobby, look, the thing I feel about this game is that we know what Brady Oliveira can do. We know what a healthy Zach Collaros can do off a bye, need to play well at home. The question is, I feel like during this season so far, there's been a lot of spots where they needed to do something and they didn't do it. But is this a spot to you against the Red Blacks, firing more coaches, injured more? If again, I'll reiterate, I feel like the books, they're getting no Red Black money. Like, do you feel like this should be even higher?
Personally, I do, which is odd because you brought up the Riders were laying 7.5 last week, and I didn't have any opinion on it. I thought that line was right where it should be, but the Red Blacks have cut 2 more D-backs, which I don't know. Like, I didn't really downgrade them for that, just because they've been so terrible anyway. They also have 2 D linemen out, which were actually some pretty decent players. So I gave them a slight downgrade. Gave them a slight downgrade after that game last week because they're like, I don't know, they're in shambles. The only thing they ever did well in the last 5 years was injury reports. They'd sort them by position. They're not even doing that anymore. So like they're making all the wrong decisions there. They're doinking the ball off their best player in the head with the snap on the first play of the game. So it's just there's nothing to like. And I've been trying to stay off this Winnipeg team. I've been burned by them probably more than anyone this season. So I'm looking for any excuse, but you're right. Like, they're off a bye, they're at home, and they're laying less than a touchdown against like one of the like historically bad teams of all time right now with the Red Blacks. So yeah, I like this. As long as it's less than a touchdown we're laying, I'm laying it with the Bombers.
One thing I find interesting here, and Bobby laying it with the Bombers there, -6.5. You can get, I think there was 6 out there, was there? And there's now 7 popping up, 6.5, 6. We'll call it consensus 6.5. One thing I find interesting, opener was considered to be 57.5, some of them out there, but there are 56.5s available now. So if you want the under, guys, you get the 57.5. You want the over, of course, get the 56.5 here. Let me ask you this, Bobby, and I'm just genuinely curious. Do you think that a success, I mean, don't forget about Ottawa, just in general. Does Winnipeg having a good game still correlate with unders? Or is Winnipeg having a good game, they kind of are going to have to put up some points? Because I remember in the past, they were kind of like how Montreal was. Like, their defense could win them games.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can cap it like you would like in the NFL, because if they're relying on Oliveira, which they aren't, and they should be, they're running down the clock. But the clock, they'll stop the clock for any reason here. They'll run the clock for any reason here. I think they still run it on extra points. So the problem I would say with Winnipeg unders is you have Mike O'Shea who's just going to kick field goals and give the other team the ball at the 40, and the teams are going to trade points nonstop. I was talking with someone earlier today. I think maybe Milanovic and Moss are the only people that aren't going to always kick field goals at every opportunity. And field goals, you would think, like NFL field goals mean unders, field goals mean overs here because you're giving everybody a short field as soon as you kick it.
Yeah, and I gotta say, even though it ended up, it was a wrong side play with the Red Blacks last week, I gotta say, loved seeing them go for it. And of course, Mayer underthrows his guy in the wide open in the end zone by like 6 feet, 6 yards, like a lot more than that. Like it was like, oh, great decision, guys. You're not settling for the field goal. And then he just underthrows a wide open man in the end zone. So that was a bit tough, but 6.5. And for the total, guys, 56.5 or 57.5. And as mentioned, I am seeing 2 spots right now in front of me at Odds Logic popping up as -7s. So make sure you shop around. I don't know. For me, like obviously, Bobby, you got down early. I haven't gotten action on the side in this game yet. I think if I'm going to play the Red Blacks, it's only going to get higher. Like I just can't see this getting to 6 or 5.5. So if I'm at all inclined to play the Red Blacks here, guys, it'll probably be at an even better number, hopefully, if I decide to torture myself one more time on a Friday night at 8:30 Eastern time. Toronto Edmonton here, Terry. Prop, sides, totals. Anything stick out to you when it comes to Toronto and Edmonton here?
Yeah, this one's really interesting. At 3.5. The way I look at this one here is I'm waiting. There is a prop I like, and that is Austin Mack receiving yards, but I need to know what the number is. And it looks like actually it is now out. So hold on a second. Live on the show, 69.5, which I think is actually a pretty good number for what he's been doing lately. He's now third. So if you look at receiving yards, who's leading receiving yards in the CFL? Tyson Philpott, Tyler Snead, Austin Mack. You think that it would be just a few years ago, all 3 of those were on the same team. Now 2 are, obviously 1 isn't. So, but Austin Mack is still producing. Cody Fajardo, Austin Mack have that chemistry. So obviously haven't locked it in yet because the number wasn't here before the show, but 69.5, I like that a lot. I think Fajardo is going to be throwing the ball a lot here in this one. Didn't have his best game last week, but the Argos do have a good rush defense. They're weak in the pass game, so I see Fajardo having a good game here. But when it comes to the spread, I feel like Toronto plus 3.5 could be a good play here. Just I don't want to say that are the Elks that we all know and love to bet against back, but kind of now, of course, they've had 2 tough opponents last week, but they're looking a lot like the old Elks, and they have the new Elks that we've seen at the start of the season. So I lean with Toronto plus 3.5, but I like on the other side, Austin Mack receiving yards over.
Yeah, and hey, I mean, this is one of those props, I think, Terry, that no matter who wins the game, he's going to be getting targeted. Like that guy loves to find himself open. They love going to him. They game plan around him, and he's a yak kind of guy. I mean, he can catch a 10-yard ball, but he can turn that into something, which is the best when you have a receiving prop there. Bobby, it's one of those things where, look, hey, I bashed on this Elks team. I talked about how they didn't deserve to even be top 2 in power rankings. And then I looked at it last week. It's going to be a field goal game. I want the dog. Nope. Should have listened to you. Gut instinct for me actually even told me the over was the play. And I was like, no, this is going to be a great game to watch. So congrats to you on the winner. You can tell I'm not bitter about it. But when it comes to this type of game here, the Elks, is this more of a spot where you just say, hey, look, Toronto is still underrated? I saw plus 820 for Argos Grey Cup. And this, to me, right now, the CFL season shaping up to be kind of like a chalk, even chalkier than usual. Like Sask, Montreal, see you guys in November at the Grey Cup. I say if you're taking futures right now, value-wise, you could get Montreal at a plus. They're going to be a minus in 2 months, but you take the Argos plus 820, or you take one of Winnipeg and BC because they're going to be there in the crossover. But this, to me, you take Argos plus 3.5, and I think if you like the Argos plus 3.5, you sprinkle on that Grey Cup future as well. What do you think? I mean, Elks back to laying points. They are at home.
Yeah, and you mentioned already what happened with the Argos last week, like 4 turnovers and still ahead at halftime. Like it was 4 turnovers in the first half. Like Chad Kelly is just giving it away, but they're still staying in games. And meanwhile, you mentioned you're on the Elks last week. I already know the answer to this, but like at any point during that game, did you think Edmonton could hang around? Like it was the track meet. So what I don't understand though is people are still saying this team's like a top 3 team. And I don't even think they're better than Toronto. The media is just so desperate for this Edmonton team to be good. It's a feel-good story, but they can't think straight. They're just trying to make it happen before it actually happens. So I think this should be a pick. I think these teams are relatively even. I think there's minimal home field for Edmonton, even now with people. We'll see how many people show up to this game compared to the Riders game. Half that stadium was Saskatchewan fans. But yeah, give me 3.5 with the Argos, especially in a league that's obsessed with field goals and games being close in the final 3 minutes. Neither one of these coaches can coach them to any separation, especially Edmonton, Mark Killam is addicted to field goals. So you saw our boy Cody Fajardo even trying to wave it off, which I'm still waiting. You have the video. I know you have the tape.
Yeah,
you're in with the CFL. So there's no reason they should be laying a field goal, especially with a hook. So I like the Argos. I like the Argos at any number here.
Yeah, and it was Argos minus 105 at the plus 3.5. Now they're minus 115, 3.5 here. And I had to sweat out. I had the Argos, but also that Chad Kelly passing prop last week. And some of those passing props can come down to the wire. I needed like 35 yards with 2 minutes to go, and we end up getting a big play that gets us there. But I mean, you mentioned 3 Down earlier, obviously a great website, which I'm doing some work with, but 3 Down, they had a funny headline. And this was a quote from what Chad Kelly said, guys, where he goes, I'm not going to get scared pretty much of my interceptions and turn into a check down Charlie. That's what he called himself. He's like, I'm not going to be a check down Charlie. Like Terry, I know you're a props guy. I wish we could bet completions with some of these quarterbacks because some of them are check down Charlies. But Chad Kelly, he could throw 4. Like I think he's second in the league in interceptions, and he's like one of the top yards guys still. So one thing I love about Chad Kelly is that he could have 3 interceptions in the first half. He still might throw for 340 yards. And Bobby's even texted me in the past before when I have a passing prop, hey, isn't an interception good? Because you're going to get the ball back soon, which is kind of true. So I do like this Argonaut side as well. I wouldn't talk anybody off a team total on the Argos if you can find it. I think the Elks offense is fine. I think the Elks defense of the past, Terry's saying, is this the Elks of old? Bobby's saying that maybe they're pushing the Elks on us. I think like who would you rather be right now? The Elks, or the Hamilton Tiger Cats? Like, well, at least they've got, a pretty good team and a starting quarterback. But at the end of the day, I feel like everybody is trying so hard to push Edmonton as this great team, but they're not quite there yet. But Argos plus 3.5 for me. I like that as well. And I don't always sprinkle. I didn't sprinkle on the money line with Hamilton last week. If you're taking the plus 3.5, you definitely have to sprinkle on the money line as well if you're taking the Argos this week. All right, the Cats taking on the Rough Riders here. 7.5 is the number. I'll just say this. I mean, you haven't had success fading the best teams. And doing self-reflection, looking at my record, fading Montreal or Saskatchewan tells me all I have to know here, guys. But if I was willing to take Ottawa plus 7.5 on the road against the Saskatchewan Rough Riders, I should probably be willing to take Tiger Cats plus 7.5 at home against this Rough Riders team. Because if I don't take Hamilton at this number and I took Ottawa last week, what the hell are we doing here, guys? So Terry, that's my answer. I'll keep it short and simple. I've been dying on the hill that the Rough Riders are underappreciated by people, but I keep trying to find reasons to fade this team at the same exact time. What do you think about this line?
Yeah, this is my player prop game. So when I look at this game here, I want to back the Rough Riders, but I don't want to back them at 7.5. That's a huge number. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take the leading touchdown score in the CFL, and I'm not going to take him for one. I'm going to take him for 2 touchdowns. Tommy Stevens over 1.5 touchdowns. Why am I doing this? Last week against Ottawa, a hat trick, 3 touchdowns. The week previous against Edmonton, another hat trick, 3 touchdowns. The previous week against Edmonton, he didn't really get used at all, so I don't know what happened in that game. But the previous week against his Hamilton defense, he scored 2 touchdowns. So multiple touchdowns in 3 of his last 4 games, plus 185 for Tommy Stevens to score 2 touchdowns. That's the play here for me. That's how I'm going to back the Rough Riders, especially with their injuries they have with receiver. When they get close, and I think the Ticats defense will be able to keep them out of the end zone in the, we're not supposed to call it the red zone, but the red zone. So I think there's going to be opportunities for Stevens to run in. So yeah, give me his 2 touchdowns plus 185. I think there's a ton of value with that here in this game.
I mean, it's automatic. It's brotherly shove worthy. They're trying to make it. They're trying to make it the goal line automatic. And this guy, I think he makes the most per hour or per minutes played out of any athlete ever. Because he plays a combined 45 seconds a game and he gets 3 touchdowns. This guy barely is on the field. He's dripping sweat, Bobby, in his post-game interviews as if he played the whole game.
Yeah, and Terry questioned what happened in the game before where he didn't score 3 touchdowns. Corey Mace was putting Trevor Harris out in short yardage and making him throw short passes and dunks into the end zone. So, give it to, when you get within 10 yards, just give it to Tommy Stevens. I'm on the Tommy Stevens train. Saskatchewan seem to be, but any reason to not have your quarterback out there or your kicker out there on 3rd down is great for me. And congratulations to the Saskatchewan kicker who made Tommy Stevens the star that he is. In terms of this game, I think we have to be careful here because I think Harrison Frost might not be that good of a quarterback. And the only thing the media wants more than the Elks to be good is for a quarterback that they can have a catchphrase. We heard about the Crumback for years. He had 2 comebacks in 25 starts. It wasn't an actual thing, but they kept Crumback. And now we've got, thanks to Marshall Ferguson, Frosty the throw man. We've already got Dustin Nielsen saying he's going to use it when he calls his next game. We saw he's not even that good at throwing. He's about as good at throwing as Dustin Crum is with coming back in games. So the only thing going for that team is the rest of the team. And like I said that last week, their coach, Milanovic isn't an idiot. He's just very particular with his quarterback. So he did make everybody look stupid except for you, Andrew, last week because you were back in the Ticats. But that Rourke versus Frost line opened 4.5, got steamed up to 8.5, 9, right? Now he's getting 7 against Saskatchewan, who just played Ottawa. And everybody who just plays Ottawa is always overrated going into the next week. So I like the Ticats at this number. It's a pretty crazy number to think. Even with Harrison Frost, who isn't that good, but Saskatchewan can only really get separation on teams when they're ahead if they're the Red Blacks. So all you need to do is hang around. And Saskatchewan or Hamilton proved last week that they can hang around, even with a 4th-string quarterback.
Bobby, you talked about the clock earlier, making some jokes. Sometimes depending on if you're on an over or an under or a dog or a favorite, the clock can feel so many different directions. If it's going too slow or it's going too fast. One thing with Trevor Harris, and this is why I've always been a Harris guy, is he's a completions guy. He's not going to wow you, but he gets the job done. Sometimes when I fade him and I'm on the underdog, I like how long and methodical the drives are. because at least when they get a TD, it takes them a long time to do it. But the other side of that is if they're already covering or they're like already up by a handful and then they bleed like 7 minutes off the clock and then score, it's tough too. Where do you sit as far as that's concerned? Because I thought before that I loved it when teams that were favorited took a long time to score, but then sometimes it works against you where they just hold on to possession, first down after first down. Like, let's be honest, Trevor Harris deserves all kinds of credit, but there are some drives where it's like 2nd and 7, he throws a 13-yard ball, move the chains, and they do that like 8 times, and and then they get a touchdown. Is that good for us or bad for us if you like the dog?
No, like that's exactly what you want. If you're the favorite, you want to draw the clock out, go all the way down the field as far as you can without kicking a field goal. So either you turn it over and pin them with 100 yards to go, or you get a touchdown. So yeah, it's not great if you're betting against Trevor Harris, who is, I don't know if he's a top 3 quarterback, but he is a decent quarterback. He's one of the best of all time, apparently. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not too much on the total game, but usually you can count on the Riders to send out their kicker, but now he's missed a few. They're hesitant to do that, which ironically, like the ones he missed are basically punts, which they should have done anyway if they're not going to go for it. So, yeah, Corey Mace is probably going to be the first one who's like too scared to use a kicker and might actually not use one altogether, which is kind of what I want, but I don't really want it to happen because of that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes if a team is like having a slow drive, they get a couple of first downs and then they punt. It's like, okay, that's great. You took time off the clock, then you punted. As a dog backer, you like it. If they take like 5 or 6 minutes to march the field, then score, it's not as fun. But this game, I'm probably going to be on the dog as well. If I took the +7.5 with the Riders or with the Red Blacks, I probably have to do it, Terry, against Hamilton. All right, to close the show, any final words, promotions, CFL notes, anything you want to add here, Terry? The stage is yours.
No, got my 2 plays that I gave out so far this week. There'll likely be a premium or 2 that I'll lock in as we get closer to game time. But right now it's just baseball action. I'm getting ready for hockey. My mind's already in hockey. I've already capped the off season, and stay tuned because you might be seeing a hockey video coming here on the channel soon. So with Andrew and I and someone else. So keep an eye out for that coming soon.
Let's do it. Yeah, looking forward to it. Man, I don't want summer to go away, but I guess if football, as far as the NFL comes back and NHL comes back, I guess I can deal with that as well. All right, for me, I'll just mention this. That one package still available. We have slipped to +18 units. Shout out to the AI graphic. It's not as sloppy as some of these crappy graphics I have been seeing on certain social media platforms. CFL, rest of the year, NFL player props. 80% of my NFL action, guys, is with the player props. So that's why this package in itself is strictly just NFL player props. Regular $399, $489. Get this for $399. You get the whole rest of CFL plus the NFL player props in one package. Bobby, people can follow you on Twitter at Mr. Surrey Jack. You're tweeting out your action. Didn't see a CFL Week 10 recap video. You're kind of going on the bi-weekly type of thing now with those videos. But any last messages for us?
No, I'm in a strange room in Port Hood, Nova Scotia. You're a Nova Scotia guy. Terry's a hockey guy. You're both hockey guys. The hometown of the greatest Nova Scotian to ever play in the NHL, Al McInnis.
Love it.
Never heard of any other Nova Scotians in the NHL.
There we go. There you go. I won't argue that. If I had $1 for the amount of hockey fans that were like, is he related to you? I'm just like, is everybody that has the same last name as you related? Well,
he's a Mac. Isn't he a Mac?
Yeah, he's a Mac. He's a McInnis. He's a McInnis. Yeah. But Port Hood, Terry or Bobby, make sure you're only there in probably these months of the year. Don't go to that town in the middle of the winter. I don't know how much fun you'll have there, but beautiful, beautiful spot to be in the summer. Guys, hope you all enjoyed the CFL Week 11, enjoyed the show, and let's have a good week here, guys. The 3 of us. Let's find some winners. We're all still having a good year, and we'll try and make sure we make some money in Week 11. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.